Hi and welcome to the DIY Video Studio channel. Today we're talking about a lens that's often the unsung hero of photography. It's affordable, versatile and sharp, yet you don't hear much about it. Yep, we're talking about the 50mm 1.8 or the Nifty 50. Whether you're new to photography or a seasoned pro, this little lens deserves a spot in your kit. So what makes the Nifty 50 so popular? Well, for starters, it's one of the most affordable quality lenses that you can buy. For instance, the Canon RF50mm 1.8 STM comes in at around $200, while others, like the Yongnuo f1.8, can be as low as $70 or $80. And if you're into vintage lenses, you might even be able to snag the Zuiko 50mm f1.8 for under $50 on eBay. But price isn't the only reason to pick up one of these lenses. The 50mm focal length provides a natural-looking eye-like perspective, and with its wide f1.8 aperture, you can capture amazing shots even in low light and get that smooth professional-looking background blur or bokeh. Now, if this lens is so great, why isn't everyone talking about it? Well, here's the deal. Because it's affordable, some people think of it as a beginner lens, and professionals tend to use faster versions like 50mm lenses with f1.4 or even f1.2 apertures, which produce even creamier bokeh and perform slightly better in low light. And reviewers and influencers, well, they're often drawn to high-end stuff because, let's face it, it's more exciting to be reviewing a lens that sells for a few $1,000s than a couple of $100s. But that doesn't mean that the Nifty 50 isn't worth your time. In fact, it's one of the best value lenses you can get, especially if you want to get great performance without spending a fortune. By the way, check out the description for links to Canon and Sony 50mm f1.8 lenses. Also, check the description if you'd like to support this channel by buying me a coffee or just like, share and subscribe. It really does help me a lot here on YouTube. But let's get back to the Nifty 50. What is it good for? Well, that would be portraits for starters. That 50mm focal length creates a natural, flattering look, and the wide aperture lets you create nice background blur, enabling your subject to stand out from the background. I've also used the Nifty 50 for food, flat lays, and product photography. Its sharpness is perfect for creating professional-looking images. I can even get close-ups. This Canon RF50mm lens has a minimum focus distance of 30 centimeters, giving a magnification of 1/4. Not quite a macro lens, but add some extension tubes and you'll be right there in macro territory. Another area where the Nifty 50 fits right in is street photography. That 50mm focal length, being equivalent to our eyesight, gives us a natural representation of what we see in the street. And for videographers and hybrid shooters, this lens lets you do talking head interviews. Furthermore, because it's compact and lightweight, it's easy to use handheld or on a gimbal. Plus, the f1.8 aperture is a lifesaver in low light conditions. But unfortunately, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like any lens, the Nifty 50 has its limitations. If you're in a small space or need to capture a wide scene, a wider angle lens is going to be better. And for wildlife or sports where you need more reach, the 50mm just won't cut it. Also, for most YouTubers filming selfie-style content, well, 50mm is a bit too long unless you've got plenty of room to move the camera back. Even with its limitations, though, at such a low price, the Nifty 50 is a no-brainer to have in your kit bag. So here are some tips and tricks to get the most out of this lens. First, zoom with your feet. Move closer or further from your subject to frame that shot. I've heard this technique called sneaker zoom. Then use f1.8 for smooth bokeh in portraits and product photography, although stopping down a little might make your subjects a touch sharper. Then take advantage of that wide aperture's low light ability and shoot indoors or in dim lighting without immediately reaching for the flash. And even though this Canon RF50mm doesn't have built-in stabilization, if you use it with a camera body with IBIS, you can manage to use a slow shutter speed to get more light without getting blurry images. For macro-like shots, add some extension tubes. Combining these 11 and 16mm extension tubes to the RF50 reduces the minimum focus distance to about 20 centimeters, giving a magnification of about 0.8. That's how I got this shot of a wasp. To sum up, this lens is fantastic when you're in the right setting. Just remember to adjust your approach to get the best results. So, should you buy the 50mm f1.8? Absolutely. It's affordable, sharp, and versatile. While it may not have all the bells and whistles of higher-end lenses, the Nifty 50 is reliable, lightweight, and capable of creating some stunning images. If you're new to photography, the 50mm f1.8 is a fantastic upgrade from a so-so zoom kit lens. If you're more experienced, it's a great option to add to your kit when you need great results without carrying around a heavy or expensive lens. For the price, it's hard to beat. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and smash that bell icon to stay updated. In the meantime, the YouTube algorithm thinks that you'd love this video over here, so give it a click and I'll see you over there.